Hey guys, it's 3:30 in the morning and I have work this morning, and I usually get up to go to work at 5:40 in the morning, which means that if I fell asleep this instant, I would get 2 hours and 10 minutes of sleep. And I'm you know, when I started doing the blood patches, I was really excited for the whole Painsomnia thing to not be a thing anymore. And I feel like I shouldn't complain because quit chewing on my charging cord. That's not a chew toy. I feel like I shouldn't complain because this hasn't been an issue for the last couple months, but my pain level is just out of this world. And if I take anything, like opioid wise, it takes 4 to 6 hours to get out of your system, which means I would technically be under the influence if I took anything. And I don't have any issues when it comes to taking medication, but you get drug tested at work. And if I were to have an episode today, I would most definitely get drug tested. And that's just a no-no. And I feel like I'm rambling, which I probably am, but I figured I would catch this moment on film to show you how I don't even know the word to describe it really. It's just kind of, I feel a little defeated and a little going a little nutty because I work 12-hour shifts, which means I woke up at 10 o'clock this morning, and if I don't fall asleep in the next little bit, I will be getting up at 5:40 in the morning, and then I'll have a 12-hour shift, and then I've got 2 more after that. And I've been lying down in bed, and I've got extra heartbeats going on, which they actually caught when I had my episode last time, where I just had a random extra beat, which isn't necessarily abnormal. On previous EKGs, I've had intraventricular conduction delay and partial right bundle block, which is pretty typical for someone with dysautonomia. So the extra heartbeat isn't really out of the ordinary, but combined with the lack of sleep and the pain level, it sounds like an echo of last Friday where I had an episode. And usually I feel them coming at least either a couple days or a couple hours in advance, where it's like a slow wind down. And I don't know, guys. This just does not spell good things for me. On another note, I decided I'd dye my hair. I've been blonde for quite a while, and I thought I'd do a change. So it's still styled from today, but yeah, I like it. But yeah, I don't know about this. And it's so annoying that I'm having to do this all over again, especially since I really have spent so much time going to Stanford and so much time getting these blood patches done and the recovery process and trying to be so good about not messing them up, At this point, if you count per needle injection, I've had 5 blood patches, and they're not working. And I have the fibrin patch coming up, but it's like, is it gonna be enough? And for me, I'm new at my job. I'm about a month and a half into this new job, and I've already had an episode once. And so at this point, I'm just really hoping I can just make it to the fibrin patch without any more issues and, being up at 3:30 in the morning on what could be called, well, it's technically my Wednesday because I work 3 days a week, but I worked Wednesday? I worked Thursday, and then I work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, off for a day, and then on for another 2. Yeah. This is one of those times where I really wish that life would just get a little easier, which doesn't happen. But the problem with these CSF headaches is that there is no turning it off. And the pain's really bad when I'm lying down. And it's worse when I stand up, and they're supposed to be positional, but for me, I've never had a humongous difference as far as pain relief when I lie down. If I'm down the whole day, I'll get some pain relief, but as far as just lying down, it's not a significant difference, which is, everyone is different with these CSF leaks, but I've been lying down for hours, and it just seems like I can't tell if it's getting worse, or maybe I'm just more focused on it, or whatever the case may be, but the idea that I'm already hurting this bad after lying down for hours, and then knowing I'm going to have to get up and be vertical for the next 12 is a little daunting. And I can't decide whether or not that's just my limitation, where I may need to find a job that just doesn't work as many hours a day. But then you lose the freedom of having all those days off, so maybe I'm just a little spoiled, you never know. But, yeah. And I'm sure that you guys have all experienced painsomnia and the slow water torture that it is, where every time you look at your alarm clock, it's a little closer to going off, and you're like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, and you look again, and, another 10 minutes has gone by, and you're still asleep, and the alarm's gonna go off even sooner, and it's just... My cat's keeping me company, which is always nice. I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but he keeps me sane on the days that I have a lot of painsomnia, because at least he's up, even if no one else is. So you feel a little less alone, even though he's just sleeping. But it's nice to have another body in the room. But yeah, if I were to list off my symptoms at the moment, I would probably rate the pain at the base of my neck, where, that classic leaker headache at the base of my skull would probably be a 9. And I usually sit at around a 7 or an 8. Usually about an 8. But I'm so used to being that high that I don't really start to worry until it gets to a 9. I know it sounds really weird, and maybe I should create a new pain system, but that's just how I roll. I'm always in a high amount of pain, so it only ever really fluctuates about 3 points. But the base of my neck is probably about a 9. The pain, it feels like pain in my optic nerves, where the back of my eyeballs hurt, is probably about a 7. I feel like I got socked. My dysautonomia is acting up because of the pain, so I'm getting my extra heartbeats, and it's very erratic, where I'll speed up and then I'll slow down, or it'll pause, or I'll get an extra beat, so I'm kind of all over the place. My joint pain is higher as well. I think at this point everything is just inflamed, which isn't really all that surprising. But that's probably where I'd rate myself right now, but I'm at the pain stage where it's just pure misery, and unfortunately nothing helps. And anything that does help doesn't help with the pain, it just knocks me stupid. That's the problem I found with opioid pain medication, is that it doesn't really work. It just kind of dopes me up enough to where I don't care. Which sounds bad. But even if I wanted to take it, it's too close to the time I have to leave for work. So I'm caught in the conundrum of trying to sleep despite the pain and trying to fall asleep before my alarm goes off. I think I made a poem, and I made it years ago. Gosh, when was that? Maybe junior year of college. Let me see if I have it. Oh, I probably don't. But it was one of those nights where you just can't sleep, and you're just angry because the alarm is going to go off any minute, and you're just, it just drives you nuts. So I like to write stories. I'm attempting to write books, and I usually get about 100 pages in, and then I get really bad writer's block. But if I'm feeling particularly emotional, I actually don't necessarily feel like writing because it costs like a lot of energy, but I like to write like poems. So let me see if I can. So I've got like a little notebook here, and I've got just little poems I've written over the years. Maybe I don't have the alarm clock one. I know I've got it. I'll have to show it to you guys one day. But I do have one that works with this particular situation. So a lot of my poems, the title is one word, where I take one word and then I expand off of that word. And it was funny because I hated writing poetry in school, but on my own terms, I like it. So I have like one called Quiet and another one called Candlelight and Ocean, Silence, Love, Conspiracy, which I wrote in middle school, and one called Pain. And I think I wrote this probably a couple months before I went to Stanford. So it was at the point I had truly kind of lost myself in the amount of pain I was in. But it says, pain is a demon that refuses to be exorcised. It writhes and wriggles under your skin, refusing to be ignored. It cripples you. It tortures you with short nights, and no matter how much you sleep, the exhausted gaze never leaves your eyes. Everyday chores become enormous tasks, and all you wish is that the day will end sooner so you can sleep and escape it for a while. But you can't never escape. It won't let you. It invades your dreams, stabbing and aching, a dark creature looming in the unconsciousness, refusing to let you forget. You fake a smile or try for a laugh, and people believe them, but they don't sit well with you because being okay is only a mask. Not the happiest one. So, but there's like another one that is much happier. This one's called Quiet, and it says, in our noisy, technology-choked world, the word quiet has been turned into a dirty word. To be quiet is to be boring. To be quiet is to be strange. To be quiet is to be lonely. But there is a benefit to being quiet that has been forgotten. To be quiet is to listen. To be quiet is to learn. To be quiet is to see. I believe that we miss things, important things, when we become too dependent on the sound of our own voices. I believe to be quiet is to be wise. To be quiet is to be patient. To be quiet is to be calm. Silence can be damaging, and silence can be healing. But when I'm feeling particularly emotional, and I don't really want to talk to anybody because I'm afraid what they'll say, or maybe I don't want them to say anything, but I need it out of my head. This is kind of the therapeutic way that I do it. And it really does help me because it allows me to get it out of my brain and it's no longer festering, as it were. So I will leave you with this last one so that we end this on a sort of happy note. And then we'll see how tomorrow goes, and I'll let you know. But this one is called Love. What is love? I know, funny. It is tangible, like words written in stone, or liquid, like a river ever-changing and constant. Is love temporary, like a rose doomed to die, or everlasting, like the expanse of space and time? Is love an action, like the touching of lips, or is love a feeling, like the touching of souls? Does love conquer all, or is it doomed to fail? Is love once in a lifetime, or is a lifetime measured in shared heartbeats? Love is all of these things. For every soul, there is a different story, and for every story, there are souls who have touched this amazing word called love. So with that, I will tell you guys good night, and I will tackle tomorrow 1 minute, 1 second at a time, and hopefully we'll get through it without incident. So I will see you guys in the next video.